Town Square Media Station.
WTUG HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide WTUG HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. A Town Square Media Station.
One man to beat, you can forget about it. Touchdown, Alabama.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show radio network can be found on social media, Martin Houston Live on Facebook and YouTube at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share. Let us know that you're out there listening. You can also interact with us by calling us at 205-342-9904. It is the Alabama One hotline. Once again, that number to interact is 205-342-9904. Or, of course, you can always add your thoughts on chat. So we look forward to interacting with you on this morning. And remember that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Got a great show lined up for you. Got a little fire sale Friday, which means that we can go back and review any conversation that we may have had earlier in the week that we did not get to. You wanted to get to, wanted to talk about, or we talked about but did not get deep enough. And you'd like to bring that conversation back to the table, you can always do so on a fire sale Friday. We'll also have a little a segment I'm going to call just a kiss. Kiss. I guess it could have two meanings. One is keep it simple. Stupid is one of those old KISS methods terminology. Maybe we need to tell O'Brien that if Bryce is the quarterback and we're worried about his shoulder, let's just call some run plays, let him throw it every once in a while. But what I want to talk about today is talking about it being a fire sale Friday. This is the opportunity, Alabama fans. You've been kind of up and down on your team. Today you get to tell us whether you keep intact your team. That's the K and the I. Would you swap your team or your position or your player or your coaches for the Tennessee players and or coaches? Or would you just outright sell the Alabama position or player or coach or whatever, and go out and try to find somebody else in the college football world? So just call it KISS. We'll talk about that. We'll also do a little score prediction as well. And so it's a great show. We want to get you to interact with us and be a part of it. We also can talk about what do you think are the key matchups for this game. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. We'll go ahead and get things rolling this morning. Before we get into a couple of those topics I just mentioned, anything from earlier this week that you or Joe, either one may want to to bring back up, and maybe I cut you off or didn't give you a chance earlier the week to make your point? You got anything that's kind of burning?
I do have one thing that I didn't get to mention yesterday. I just wanted to say happy anniversary to my wife. We made it 6 years. We have 2 beautiful kids, and the best that that is the love of my life, and I'm excited for what year 6 brings us.
Congratulations, and happy belated anniversary to you and yours, and to my grandchildren. Now back to the conversation. You have anything from earlier this week that we need to get to?
I think we really got to talk about how long it's been since Tennessee has beaten Alabama, because that is one of that hasn't been talked about enough, in the sense of just how much the world has changed. I know that's one of the things that we talk about every year, but I was just stopping to think. The last time Tennessee beat Alabama, you had a 9th grader, a 6th grader, and 2 kids not in school. And now you have one married in his 30s, another one pushing 30, and the youngest 2 are in college.
And 2 grandkids in school.
And 2 grandkids in school.
And one not.
And one not.
Yeah. Lots of change. It's almost like the guys who, you see guys who go off to prison and they come back out, and and I'm not being ugly about them being in prison. I'm just talking about, could you imagine a guy who went into prison in the early 2000s, and he come out now and everybody walk around with an iPhone, and a computer in their hand. So yeah, pretty big deal. But I guess the question you have to ask, though, Joe X, is does that play the length of time? Do you think the length of time has any effect on the game coming up Saturday, considering where these two programs sit coming off of last week's games?
I think it does, in a way that Tennessee still has that monkey on their back, because as good as they are, they haven't been able to beat Alabama, and that sits in the back of your mind as a player. You look at these guys that have been there, this is their 4th, 5th year at Tennessee. They still haven't done it, and that's going to weigh more in their minds, I think, than it does in Alabama. Because, Will Anderson said something yesterday or the day before. Alabama's still the standard. And until you can knock off Alabama, it doesn't matter what you've done.
Yeah, Joe, any comments on that?
Well, I mean, I do think the length of time matters a little bit to this game. I think the hunger and desperation has really set in, and the Alabama football team is going to feel that from the fan base this week, especially with them feeling like they actually have a chance to break that streak. I think the last couple of years they probably didn't feel like they even had a chance, but now entering this game with a talented team, I think that they're going to feel that desperation.
Yeah, guys, kind of respond to the thought that I'm about to throw out there. I was on the Alabama team that went down to Auburn for the first time in 1989. In one sense, the guy, man, it was like, we're playing in Auburn, and for me, I didn't care, because I'd not played Auburn anywhere. You know what I mean? So I wasn't a part of the streak of the losses, technically. So in some ways it didn't impact me, but the guys who were a part of the loss, I felt like they played tight. The guys who had played them in Birmingham, the guys who had played them on the other side, but also had a couple. I mean, the guys who had played them and lost, that time. I think it was 3 in a row at that time. After that, and then we beat them to stop them from going to 4. in 90. But the one of the interesting parts of that, guys, I had a couple of classmates on the other side that had been a part of the streak. You know what was in the back of their mind that motivated them is they didn't want to be the one to lose the streak. So think about this thought. Tennessee, and one last thought I need to add to that. Clemson didn't beat us the first time they played us in a championship game, but I think that they walked away from that thinking we can now beat these guys. I don't think Georgia beat us the first go round, but they're thinking we can beat these guys. So there's kind of a twofold thing here is the Alabama players, responding to this first, the Alabama players don't want to be the guys that ends the streak, right? You don't want to be that guy. So how much motivation are they getting from that? But the other side of that is Joe, Xavier, you answered the first one. And Joe, you answered the second question is did Tennessee last year in Bryant-Denny, did those guys get enough confidence that they think adding that to this year's team that they can beat the Crimson Tide? So, X, what kind of motivation is that?
I mean, when you look at it, they still lost that game by 28 points.
Mm-hmm.
It was competitive for a little while, but then Alabama pulled away like they have so many times in this series over the last 15 years. So I'm not sure if that was enough to make them go, okay, we can beat this team. Now, if it had been a 10-point game, it came down to the wire, maybe. But Alabama still beat them pretty dominantly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think that certain things went well for them. But Xavier's exactly right. The game was tight at the beginning of the fourth quarter, but when winning time happened, Alabama was really Alabama. And you think about 2 years prior, Tennessee driving down to the goal line, and they were driving down to the goal line to make it a 7-point game, but Trayvon Diggs returned it for 100 yards. So there have been close games in the past. Closer games where Alabama has pulled away. Derrick Henry's late touchdown comes to mind. I think it's just going to be I think it's just going to be. I think it's like Xavier said, still monkey on their back.
Yeah, and that, I think without doubt it's a monkey on their back. But the difference is they got it to the fourth quarter, and they were brand new. They were learning. And this year, they're undefeated. They're top 6. They're told how good they are, and I think they're believing it. And to me, a lot of times in college football, it's confidence. And the other thing that it is depth. And the question is, did those two things happen in this offseason for this Tennessee team in terms of this game? And now, whether it translates into it, I think that we're playing a different Tennessee team than we've played in a long, long time. Coach Stallings says when somebody is going through the cemetery and they're whistling walking through the cemetery because they're a little nervous about playing the game. I don't think this Tennessee team is nervous. I don't think this Tennessee team is coming in hoping they can win. I think this Tennessee team is coming in thinking they can win. And I think that 3 quarters, if I'm the coach from last year, you know what I show them, guys? I show them the first 3 quarters of that game. And then say, we ran out of gas last year. And then I tell them we got better in the offseason. We added more depth. We added more experienced players through the transfer portal. This is our year. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. And I think how the game starts will determine how it ends. I think that if they get the same types of break they got against LSU to start the game last week, Alabama could be in for a smoky fight or a dog fight. But we'll watch that. And then on the other side, I do think that this Alabama Crimson Tide team, man, there's a lot of pressure on these guys because they're the first group that have gone into a week where everybody's saying they might win. I mean, they might lose. So it's been a long time since an Alabama team group of players went into any game, I think, with as many question marks as this team has against a team that hasn't beaten them in a while. Of course, you always have a question mark when you're playing the Georgias and Ohio States and Clemsons of the world. So is Tennessee back? We'll see. This will be a week to determine it. Come back on the other side. We'll have a little kiss. You're going to keep intact the players you have, the coaches, the process, etc. You want to swap with Tennessee, or do you want to sell? We'll talk about that more right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. I want to thank the great folks at Alabama One. Alabama One, your one source for all your financial needs. Alabama One together. Whether you're looking for an auto loan, whether you're looking for a personal loan, signature loan, whether you're looking for a mortgage, business, etc., it does not matter. The question we're asking you at Alabama One is, what's your one? And we'd love to help you make that dream a reality. Check out alabama1.org, alabama1.org, or stop by one of our branch locations.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Everything looking pretty good as we start our Friday morning. Do drive carefully. And, of course, if you do see conditions folks need to hear about, just give me a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan is having a special sale today with super markdowns and extra cash for your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
It's the Tuscaloosa Community Calendar, powered by Pepsi.
The Literacy Council of West Alabama serves 9 counties by getting books into the hands of children and adults, encouraging students to read, write, and stay in school, providing community resources and role models, and encouraging adults to get their GED. Please check out their newest little libraries at U-Perk Coffee Shop, Catch a Taste Restaurant, and Haycourt Apartments in Tuscaloosa. The Literacy Council of West Alabama serves 9 counties by getting books into the hands of children and adults.
And it's a great
Travis Tritt, Chris Jansen,
but it can buy me a boat.
Together Live, the Can't Miss Tour.
Keys to the country.
This Wednesday, Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. Travis Tritt and Chris Jansen. Special guest, War Hippies. Reserved seats on sale Friday 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Part of the Coca-Cola Concert Series. Produced by Red Mountain Entertainment.
Hey, Tide fans, heading to Knoxville this weekend? Catch Mecum Auctions in downtown Chattanooga this Friday and Saturday with 600 American muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, trucks, and more for auction. Your Mecum experience begins at Mecum.com. That's Mecum.com.
Are you seeing the telomeres here? Come here, look at the scope.
Dr. Ocasio's lab startup just discovered a gene therapy breakthrough.
The cells have already doubled.
He needs a fleet of research assistants before this breakthrough breaks them.
We need lab techs, research assistants.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A big warm-up today with a good supply of sunshine. Tuscaloosa's high at 81. For tonight, the sky fair, the low at 54. Tomorrow, a sunny day with a warm afternoon, the high 84. Sunday, partially sunny, a few isolated showers late in the day, the high 81. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 47 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Top 100.9. Don't forget about Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, value. Under the biggest cactus in town, make them your choice for your lunch and or dinner needs. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, value. Go get you one of those Sanchos or the beefy queso nachos and or many other great items to choose from, and then wash it all down with a big glass of that sweet tea off of that shaved ice. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com. All right, hey, C.J. Watson is hitting the last time Tennessee beat Alabama in football scenario. Xavier. Alabama had 7 future NFL players on its roster. All 7 of those players are retired from the NFL. The last time Tennessee beat Alabama in football, President Gerald Ford was alive to see it, and former 2-term President Barack Obama was a senator in Illinois, and 2 presidents have been elected since the end of his administration. So, been a while, but does it come to an end this Saturday? We'll talk about it right here. We're gonna have a little kiss going on here, and that is, are you buying or selling? Are you gonna keep intact the stock you have in Alabama? You're gonna swap it with the Tennessee stock, or are you going to sell it and go out and get you a whole nother set of stock? All right. Chuck on you in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning to you all. I'm gonna be quick, but I learned a lot from your shows in the past about that rivalry. You know, always when I think about your alma mater and Auburn are rivals, but I found this one is an arch rivalry. This one is very heavy, and because all week I've been seeing people, is talking about the throw up orange and talking about the stadium in Knoxville being a trash dump convention. I said, boy, this is wow here.
Hey, Chuck, do you understand why the Tennessee rivalry is so big? Coach Bryant, but Coach Bryant had very little respect for Auburn. I don't think he would even ever say Auburn. He would just say that school on the other side of the state. However, General Neyland, on the other hand, had success against Coach Bryant. And so many people say that his disdain for Auburn was he just didn't respect them. It's just the same for Tennessee is he hated them and didn't like them, and because they were a threat. They could be, because the Tennessee series is the most streaky series in the history of college football. Very seldom have there been a back and forth time. Most of the time it's a 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 in a row. Whichever team starts to win usually goes on a nice little streak. Go ahead.
Boy, that's quite interesting. I found, the way I found out about that, my Coach Bryant, I found out through that SEC football documentary on the SEC network. And that's when I learned that. And then you talked about it. Boy, this is intense.
Absolutely. You don't want to lose, and you hate. I don't know if they still do it, but they used to bring in those big speakers. I'm talking about humongous speakers and blast Rocky Top all week long. I mean, when you stepped out of the locker room onto the field, you could hear Rocky Top when I was there. You could hear Rocky Top on the other side of campus from the football field. That's how loud it would be. You couldn't hear anything.
Golly. Yeah, I really learned a lot about what this is all about, and when I was looking at it, I know Alabama's going through a lot. After what happened to Bryce Young, and you have Miro. Miro's trying to do whatever has been told to him, what he needs to be done, and they're trying to hold things together. But it's up to those guys to overcome. And that's it. I know it's gonna be kind of rough tomorrow, but like I said, we will see.
All right. Well, thanks. Appreciate that, sir. And we appreciate you giving us a buzz, and call back anytime, sir.
All right. You all have a great and safe weekend over there.
All right, that's Chuck Hunt on the Alabama One Hotline. Now we're bringing in Robert from Mobile on the Alabama One Hotline. You're in with Martin and Xavier on the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind?
Hey guys.
Hey now.
How you doing this morning?
Well, you guys reminiscing about last time and where Martin was when Tennessee won the last time. Just to go, the conclusion was, okay, so then you're old, huh, man?
That's what that means. Oh, you have jokes, Robert. Hey, listen, you know I tell people, Robert, when they tell me I'm old and they're younger than I am, I'm like Alabama. I'm where you're trying to get to.
I have to remember to use that one because
Anytime a young person tell you getting old, you just tell them I'm where you trying to get to. So
you got that right. Usually financially too.
Yes. What else you got for us?
I remember Nick Saban once in some press conference talking about the Tennessee rivalry, and I think he mentioned that it was, he thought it was a bigger rivalry than even the one against Auburn. At the time, we all were kind of thinking, oh, man, you just don't really know how important the Auburn rivalry is because, we've just beaten Tennessee like it was nothing during that time. So we all, we were thinking, Auburn, Tennessee, come on, you better be thinking about Auburn. But now, now everybody's starting, we're starting to wake up. Oh, yeah, that did used to be a pretty good rivalry.
Right.
And then, like you said, that's the point of being a rivalry when your rival actually can challenge. That's what makes the rivalry a rivalry. And Tennessee's got to where they can challenge this year.
Yeah, now, that's what makes this game fun. That's what makes this game fun and interesting, and I can't wait to watch it. Robert, is because there is legit chance that Alabama could lose this game, and with Bryce, it's legit chance they could blow it out. So it's an interesting Saturday. I think Bryce not being there makes this game even more. Not being certain on Bryce makes this game even more intriguing up until this point.
Well, and in the rankings and the game day, of course, things is worthy of being there. There's a scenario where you could justify 3 SEC teams in the playoffs. This game could have those kind of implications. As in, there's a scenario out there where if you're gonna do it, hey, this might be the year to actually get 3 of them in there. And so that's what's at stake right now with this game. It's been a long time since it's been this huge. I keep everybody tell me the iPhones were invented and all that stuff. It's like, wow, really?
Yeah, think about when was the last time you had 4? It's 4, right? 4 undefeated SEC schools this far in.
Really? Yeah.
You have Alabama. Right now, you will come away this week most likely with still having at least 3 SEC teams undefeated, and the East trying to make a statement that they have now arrived. So Tennessee could easily end up being, an undefeated team. Alabama with 1 loss, and their hope's still alive. And then you have Ole Miss over Auburn, and then you have Georgia, continuing to win. So it could be an interesting time. So.
Yeah, the scenario I've heard is, hey, wait, what if Tennessee wins this game, then they lose to Georgia, then Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship game? What do you do with that playoff committee? Yeah, really. What do you do with that? So the stakes are high. But like you said, that's why you come to Alabama, Bryce, in the game because you want to play in games like this. Here you go. This is the SEC.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, yeah, really, really interesting time. I hadn't even thought about the 3-game scenario, but it definitely could play out. I hope it doesn't, since you said it would be because Alabama lost tomorrow. So we're pulling for Tennessee to go ahead and get spanked, and then maybe they upset Georgia. But we will see. What would you do? I give you another quick scenario before I let you go. Let's say that Alabama beats Tennessee and it's a dogfight. And then Tennessee, Georgia goes on to win, makes it to the SEC championship. No, because Tennessee would have lost to Georgia at that point, so they'd have 2 losses.
Right.
Right.
Bama
Huh?
Could be Georgia.
Bama can win tomorrow. Bama beats Tennessee. Tennessee beats Georgia. Tennessee beats Alabama in the SEC championship game. Would have it a 3-team scenario.
You'll have it. So, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. One good thing about this season before I go, this is the first season in a long time that Alabama's got a genuine mulligan on the loss. You know, they can lose a game and still make the playoff. I prefer that the SEC championship game to be the one that don't have any meaning. So no matter win or lose, they're in. But they do have a mulligan.
There's 2 games that they can't lose and still have a mulligan. If this game they can have a mulligan, but if they win this game, that mulligan is gone, because if they lose to Ole Miss or to Mississippi State even, then it would be one of those 2 schools. Wow. Interesting stuff in the SEC.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
All right. Hey, does that mean we have parity in college football, or is college football down? I'm not sure. But interesting things to talk about. Hey, come back on the other side. We're going to get into a little bit of that Fire Sale Friday Kiss edition. Jed Cohen said, let's shut these Tennessee fans and the national media up. Roll Tide, roll. Cam Timms said, 124th in pass defense. I like our chances regardless of who plays, and I'm assuming he's talking about quarterback. And he said, AR-15, talking about Richardson from Florida, put up like 450 passing yards on them. So should we be worried about this Tennessee game at all, regardless of who plays quarterback? We'll talk about it on the other side. You can get in on it, 205-342-9904.
This is a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
This is Timothy Bowens with your Tide Sports Update. Nick Saban issued a challenge to the entire program this week. The Tennessee head coach revealed his mindset before the Alabama matchup. Brian Robinson Jr. is expected to start in his next game with the Washington Commanders.
This has been a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update. Run it again! For more info on these stories and more, download the Tide 100.9 app.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
This is Loyalty Lab Interview 6. Subject, grandmother's loyalty. Margie, what do you do when your grandson misbehaves?
Angels don't misbehave.
Here we study the most loyal, like you and... Oh, there goes the lamp.
Shouldn't have put it there.
Shell and the Fuel Rewards program has our members' backs, too. It's super easy to save on every gallon. Loyal, just like how you acted like that wasn't his fault.
Someone should clean that up before he gets hurt.
Yes, loyal, just like that.
10 years of FR.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church your family? Are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our Pep Talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. I want to remind you to go check out Overflow Express Wash. Overflow Express Wash, you can check them out. They'll be glad to help you. Overflow Express Wash, 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport to better serve you and when it comes to keeping your car clean inside and out, overflowexpresswash.com. All right. Before we get into that, I want to invite you all to tune in tonight and watch Friday Night Rivals on My 68 TV. I'm going to be guest analyst tonight. First time I had an opportunity to do that. So looking forward to calling the Alexandria and Southside game tonight at 7:00 on My 68 TV in Birmingham tonight. So tune in if you have that channel for Friday Night Rivals. Looking forward to having a fun time. We'll see how it goes. No critiquing. All right, guys. Hey, listen, we got a couple comments. Joe, before we get into it, Curtis Moore. So I'm going to say it again, like I did last week against A&M. Stats are stats. Who cares? Kudos to the Tennessee offense, but if we play to Alabama standard, be disciplined, and not get out coached, we win the ball game. We have more talent than Tennessee overall. True Alabama fans understand the Alabama-Tennessee rivalry. All right, and Virgil Williams replying to Curtis Moore II, I think you hit the nail on the head. If we don't get out coached, the last few games we lost were more coaching mistakes than talent mistakes. It makes you stop and think sometimes. With that said, been teasing the Kiss X and Joe. Keep intact. Who you have, swap or outright sell your stock. Which one you doing, X, Joe, when it comes to the Tennessee versus Alabama team in general, and I'm going to put a caveat in there because I think this answer is simple if you have a Bryce Young playing. I don't know that any Alabama fan that's going to take Tennessee, but Bryce is not going to play. Do you keep intact your Alabama team as a whole? Do you swap Alabama for Tennessee? Or you say, man, I don't want Alabama. I don't want Tennessee. Give me somebody else to take on the Volunteers this week.
I'm keeping it intact. I'm not ever going to, as long as Nick Saban's Alabama's head coach, I'm keeping everything intact.
Joe, you keep it intact, making a swap.
No, I mean, I'm keeping it intact. I think that you said with or without Bryce Young, I think this Alabama team still has a lot to lean on.
Absolutely. So, Joe, with that said, how many Bama fans do you think would call up and swap for the Tennessee Volunteers? Because I've listened all week, and if you didn't know any better on Tide 100.9, you think that Bama fans think that Tennessee's going to win this game.
Man, they're scared. They're scared. And all these Bama fans, outside of tough games, they like to say, "Oh, we're not afraid of anybody." But going into this week, if you listen on this radio station, just like you talked about, Martin, they're scared. And now, I don't know that they have the courage to call and actually admit that they would swap, but there's a lot of fear going on this week.
Yep, they may not say it, Joe, directly, but their words, the content of their conversation seems to say so. All right, this is an easy one. Uh, Saban is interesting. The Bama fans, he said that they really don't matter one week, and then last week he said in his almost his opening comment that the fans had a lot to do with the win. But traditionally, Alabama fans have not been known to be the greatest fan base when it comes to making noise and making it disruptive. And no one fears coming to play Bryant Denny because of the fans. But we used to always prep when we went to Rocky Top because of the fan noise. Um, you're keeping intact, swapping or selling the Bama fans for the Tennessee fans because of the impact they could have on this game.
Now, in that case, might have to swap. Yeah. Bama fans, especially since Saban has been here, are spoiled. And so there's a lot of times where they just get comfortable and it affects the game because, as we saw last week, there were opportunities for Alabama's fans to get loud, and they finally did it, and it impacted certain things that happened at the end of that game. But Tennessee fans are loud, period. So I'd swap.
What about you, Joe?
Oh yeah, I'd swap too pretty easily. They go crazy in Neyland Stadium.
And here's what I would say. I would take the Bama fans that travel, and because I think the ones who travel, like when we used to love to play on the road when I was here, because we would have it was awesome to have 12,000 fans in Neyland Stadium, way up in the right corner, way up there in the very top, and all you could hear at the end of the game was Roll Tide, or wherever we went, it was always that way. So I love that aspect of it. And if you could multiply that, get rid of the Greek section where they don't cheer at all, and then educate the Bama fans who are there, then maybe. But yeah, if you just outright, we need some education on how to be good fans. We don't always know the right way to make a big difference. All right, man, we got a couple more swaps. We need to a couple more kiss things we need to get to, but the phone lines have lit up. Guys, I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to move you through pretty quick, but be ready to hit it when I bring it on. Go ahead and tell you we're going to have Alan, Ty, and Cole Lucas on the Alabama One hotline. Right now, we got Alan. You're in. What's on your mind, sir?
Never switch. I would never switch for nobody in orange at all. Period. Man, I've been Alabama. I've been around for a long time. Albert Means fiasco when Antonio signed with the agent. I've been going up to Neyland Stadium for a long time. I'm not gonna get to go this year, but I would never switch. If Bama had won a game this year, I still wouldn't switch. I hate them for what they did to Alabama about the Albert Means stuff, and I would never switch up. Y'all gentlemen have a good day.
Hey, Alan, I'll let you go. But yeah, Alan, these young folks don't know nothing about that Albert Means thing. But the fans who came up during that time, they got a real hatred for Tennessee. Thanks, Alan. As real. Todd, you in with the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen. Just real quick, keep intact. Never, ever sell the University of Alabama. Never, no matter what. I tell you what, man, you guys are right on point, man. I'm trying to talk my son and my wife to ride on up there with me, but I can't get nobody to ride with me. So we rode there Friday last week, man, and I believe that University of Alabama's got Tennessee right where they want them. You know, they struggled a little bit last week, so them boys got a little bit more glimmer of hope. But when the boys roll out on the field, they're gonna be ready to play.
All right, hey Todd, I'm gonna give you one more keep intact question. Kiss, keep intact, swap or sell. Alabama, Nick Saban removed. Alabama's coaching staff for Tennessee's coaching staff.
Alabama's coaching staff.
Ooh, okay, all right. We'll let you go. But thanks, Todd. Hopefully you get somebody right up to Knoxville with you.
Roll Tide, guys. Love y'all.
Roll Tide, guys. Appreciate it. Hey, Cole Lucas, you're in on the Alabama One hotline. What you got for us?
The only reason why this game's going to be like it is because it's at Tennessee. If it was in Tuscaloosa, we would win probably about 3 or 4 touchdowns easily.
So do you think that and you can go ahead? I didn't mean for you to be that short. If you had anything else, if you wanted to say anything else.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if this game was in Tuscaloosa, I would feel a lot better about it. But with it being over there and with Bryce not 20%, that's why I'm worried about it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the ticket is home game for Tennessee. Bryce not being 100%, or you're not sure where he's at. Tennessee coming off of a big win, Alabama coming off of a close win, and all of those things going together, and eventually you're gonna lose, right? You think the streak's going to eventually. You think that all of those things coming together. If Tennessee don't win this game, Cole, if Tennessee don't win this game, man, this may sit them back another 10 years.
Come on, I don't know, but see, us playing some close games already with Texas playing by 1 point, A&M playing by 4 points, and then who knows? This guy could easily go to the wire too. So. We'll definitely know tomorrow of where we're at and where we need to be too. So we got a lot to look forward to this season too, with our staff and our players and everything to go with it.
Hey, that's it. Thanks, Cole. Hey, the reality of it is, guys, and we'll talk about on the other side is what's that, X?
Hey, he just said Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. The question is. Does the way Alabama's played against Texas and Texas A&M actually help them in this Tennessee game? It could be a T thing, guys. We struggle with teams with start with the letter T.
I look at it. You look at those 2 games, and even the Arkansas game where they struggled in the third quarter. You know, being able to have three of your 6 games get tight, get a little stressful, can be very beneficial because a lot of times Alabama gets into these type of games at this point of the season, and they haven't had to fight. They haven't had to struggle. They haven't had to do anything like that. So I think 3 of these games early in the season helps Alabama from this point on in the season.
Absolutely. And if we go to break here, you have to look at this. Even with Jalen Milroe playing, I think Alabama is the better team. Jalen Milroe, if you go back to Arkansas, he lost 1 quarter, 2 of those quarters, and he didn't play the first quarter, right? And when he came in, it was 14-0. It went up to 28-0, and we still ended up winning by 3 scores. So he extended Alabama's lead. You go into Saturday's game, it was 0-0 after the first quarter. He won the second quarter, won the third quarter, and then they put it in the tank, put it in the bag. And the fourth quarter was a dogfight, and I think that was all related to coaching. Coming back on the other side, we got a couple more KISS opportunities for you. Keep intact, swap or sell on this Fire Sale Friday, and then we'll also get score predictions by Joe and X. Remember, check me out. My 68 Friday Night Rivals game at 7 o'clock. Alexandria versus Southside. Gonna have fun. Tune in and let me know what you think.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we've got a disabled 18-wheeler at the exit ramp off 2059 eastbound onto 359 northbound. Use extreme caution. It's limited visibility in that area. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Townsend Nissan is having a special sale today with super markdowns and extra cash for your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Medical cannabis dispensaries should be operational by this time next year. But Alabama State Treasurer Young Boozer has told the monthly Alabama Cannabis Commission meeting federal law requires transactions to be in cash only. The deadline for business requests to be filled with the commission is Monday. Just over 380 applications have been received so far, at least 2 from Tuscaloosa, which is one of 6 cities to opt in for sales so far. I'm Don Hartley.
Ask big.
Have you seen our artisan created diamonds? If you've been in a room with one, you can't miss it.
Tom Osmond from Fincher and Osmond.
It's a diamond like I've never seen.
And he's seen a lot of diamonds.
Ask big.
At Fincher and Osmond, you can put artisan created diamonds side by side with mined diamonds. When you see it,
more importantly, when she sees it,
FincherandOsmond.com.
McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
It's the Tuscaloosa Community Calendar, powered by Pepsi.
Join the Tuscaloosa, Alabama Links chapter for Links in Pink, a breast cancer awareness event on Saturday, October 15th, virtually on Zoom, starting at 10 in the morning. This session, the presenters will focus on mammogram early detection. The Zoom meeting ID is 869-0625-9186, and the passcode is 023548. For more details, log on to TuscaloosaALLinksINC.org.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with Awakening. The team and I would like to invite you to this monthly community-wide praise and worship service featuring intimate worship and powerful preaching of God's word. Please join us at the link, that's 610 Watermelon Road, Northport, Alabama, or watch online at Empowerment Ministries on Facebook. That's Awakening, powered by Empowerment Ministries, the third Thursday every month at 6:30 p.m. Please pray for us and join us if you can.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. I want to invite you to join us at Harvest Church this Sunday. Sunday school starts, Bible study, what we call it, but most people know it as Sunday school. Our small group time starts at 9 a.m. and our worship service starts at 10. Harvest Church, where we're loving God and loving people. We love to have you come out and join us this Sunday. Check us out, hctuscaloosa.com. Once again, right there in Coker, as you go out 82 past the airport, metal building on the right with the big blue sign. That's Harvest Church, loving God, loving people. Sunday at 9 for Bible study, 10 a.m. for worship. Love to see your face in the place. All right. Blind Squirrel Sports, hadn't seen him in a while. He said, I agree with Alan. Orange is ugly. And so I hope y'all stomp those dastardly Vols. So, all right, guys, keep intact, swap, sell, or kiss the coaching staff for Alabama. Hey, listen, I'm going to ask this two ways. If you had to make the trade today, then which staff you taking, Saban or not, included with this group?
I'm keeping it intact. Alabama has, even with as many issues as we complain about B.O.B., he still has the second best offense in the SEC. And when you look at Pete Golden, they have the best defense in the SEC. So I'm keeping it with those two.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm keeping it with those two as well. I think that just what Xavier said, I echo.
All right, we'll speed up a little bit. All right, now the question is, you only have Saban for this year, and next year you're going to make a change. Would you swap the future of Alabama and take Heupel and his staff or the unknown?
The unknown.
I mean, Heupel's a pretty dang good coach. If you offer me unknown versus Heupel, I guess I'll take Heupel.
Hey, Joe, I'm looking at if he can do that with Tennessee's offense, what would he do if he had Bryce Young and others? So that brings it down. You're taking Bill O'Brien, keep it intact, swap, sell, Bill O'Brien or Heupel.
Okay, that scenario, I'm taking Heupel.
Yeah, same.
I think hands down. All right, and I don't even know Tennessee's defensive coordinator's name, but anyway, they're Tennessee's defensive coordinator or our guy.
I'm taking Pete Golden. Like I said, he's got one of the best defenses in the country. Alabama and Michigan are the only two teams with a top 10 offense and top 10 defense.
All right, good stuff. All right. Hey, now position grouping real quick, guys. All right. You have to take the quarterback room. You're taking Tennessee's or Alabama's in its current state. Healthy Hooker or questionable Bryce?
I'm going to take Bryce Young until he proves that he can't do it.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Wide receivers. Tennessee's keep intact, swap, sell versus Alabama's wide receiver.
I'll go Tennessee.
Joe?
I'll go Alabama.
What about O-line?
Alabama's O-line.
Same.
Defense, any position you going to swap with Tennessee, keep intact or sell?
Top 10 defense versus the 87th ranked defense. I'm taking Bama.
Yeah. So, guys, we just walked through that, and I'm trying to figure out why all these Bama fans think that Tennessee going to beat Alabama. There wasn't anywhere we would swap potentially except for our offensive coordinator. And if Bryce is playing, you ain't even worried about that. But all that other stuff around them ought to be okay. Give me your score, guys.
I'm going to go 41-24 Alabama.
Joe?
I'm going right now. I'm feeling like 45-41 in Alabama.
Ooh, you got that. You got, but you still got Bama winning. But you got Tennessee's offense living up to the hype. And I had 41-20 or 41-24. Since Xavier said 24, I'll say 20. All right, guys. Thanks for a great show. We'll work in that kiss a little bit more. We'll talk about that and make that part of the show, man. Why fear Tennessee? You shouldn't. Bama rose up into Knoxville, comes back home with yet another victory. Bryce Young, hopefully he's back for his personal reasons and game. But I ain't going to lie to you, I'd love to see Jalen Milroe get a chance to do something in this game and do some things. So we'll see if they even put that in as a package. We'll watch for it. But either way, we'll be talking about it on Monday. Alabama versus Tennessee. Does the streak go continue? And we go over 6,000 days since Tennessee last beat us. We'll let you know on Monday, and we'll talk about it right on the Martin Houston Show. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, and not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide out there, everybody. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide.